This is a subcommittee meeting of the Economic Development Committee of the Springfield City Council. We are hearing a resolution in support of the union at MGM and workers' rights and their right to collectively bargain. And we're joined here by union members, as well as former mayor of the city of Springfield, Michael Albano, is in the room. And so I wanted to give the union members an opportunity to voice their concerns. And certainly the city of Springfield has a interest in the matter, as we have a host community agreement with MGM Casino. And part of the reason why we want the casino to thrive and prosper is because it does provide good union jobs. So without further ado, perhaps I could hear from some of the union members if they just want to just speak
Sure.
On the resolution and their support of the resolution and the situation that has brought this to City Council's attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for meeting. My name's Lori Andrews. I'm born and brought up in Springfield. I work at MGM Springfield in the slot department, and I'm also the president of the local 301 at MGM Springfield. This is Kat. She's a business agent from the union.
Hey.
Hi. This is one of the dealers. And we're here because we, being in the union myself, it has helped so many of my coworkers, friends, families from losing their jobs unnecessarily. The union is always here to fight for their rights. And now the dealers want their rights fought for as well. They have held an election, they have won the election, and MGM has appealed it 3 times, lost 3 times because it is a done deal. They voted it in, and by law, they need to negotiate. And that's all we're asking them to do, is to sit down and negotiate with us. It's something that they've wanted for a long time. We've been hard at work trying to make this happen, and we finally got them to vote, and it was a fantastic day. Everybody came through and they voted it in, and now we just want MGM to do their part. It's the law. They can't just keep putting us off and putting us off and putting us off. It's a union state. We want everyone to be protected, and we're just asking them to sit down and negotiate. It's just that simple.
And if you would have the numbers, how many employees are in this union in the MGM?
Currently, about 400?
400 to 500.
400 to 500 currently, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, different departments. There's only a few departments now at MGM Springfield that are not unionized. Very few, like maybe 3, 4. Yeah.
And are there different unions within MGM?
There are 3, I believe 3 unions right now currently. We're the biggest one, and then there's other unions that are also involved.
Understood. Would you have any comments on?
No, not at this time.
Okay. We're just inviting comments in support of the resolution or in opposition of the resolution. So if you wish to comment on it, sir, would you like to?
Sure. My name's Greg Banks. I'm a dealer at MGM, and she was saying we voted 14 months ago to organize. We won the election, and it's just been a battle this whole time to try and get MGM to come to the table. They've refused all our requests. They just continue to push it along. I guess things are at the federal level now. They've lost, a couple of appeals. So we're frustrated. We want them to come and sit down and, let's negotiate a contract.
And I apologize. Is the president of the union here? You're the president?
Yeah.
I apologize.
Of the local, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I don't know if anyone else has any further commentary that they'd like to discuss. We are again, as I mentioned earlier, joined here by former Mayor Michael Albano. And I know, Cater, you served with Mayor Albano.
Mike, nice to see you.
Also nice to see you.
Yeah, how's everything going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, Mike actually appointed Danny to be Veterans Director.
Terrific.
Yeah. And Daniel worked for you too, long
He-
time ago.
So Marilyn,
I'll be interested in your point of view today.
Well, thank you, Counselor. Maybe before I make some comments, Chelsea's here, she'd like to, I think, give you a little background of where the union stands. I think that might be important to put this whole thing in perspective first.
absolutely, Chelsea.
Yeah, so I apologize, I was a couple minutes late. I'm not sure what was said before I got here. But I think, a lot of what I wanted to reiterate was what Greg was saying. The dealers won their election on March 9th, 2024, which was almost 14 months ago now. Under the, federal labor law, when a union wins recognition, like they did on March 9th, 2024, the employer is required to sit down at the table and negotiate. And MGM has yet to do this in clear violation of the law. And as you guys are probably all aware of, the NLRB right now it's in a little bit of a state of disarray because of chaos at the federal level. And it's pretty clear to us that MGM is taking advantage of that chaos. So really, we're asking you for your support, and the dealers are asking you for your support. In order to get MGM to follow the law, in Springfield.
Would you know, what is the situation in the NLRB on the federal level?
Yeah, so MGM, so the dealers won their certification, the certification of their union. And then MGM challenged that certification regionally. That was denied by the region, they rejected it. And then, so now they're appealing. I think, I'm not sure if they've appealed twice and it's been denied twice, or if they've appealed.
Three times.
3 times, and it's been denied
Every
3
time.
times. They have no new evidence. The likelihood of anything changing through further appeals is almost zero. It's very, very low because this has been decided multiple times already through multiple governing bodies at multiple different levels.
If I may add.
Yeah.
We also have fellow unions in support of us. We had the teachers union that was just there Saturday for a conference, and they picketed outside and protested and came inside with petitions, hundreds and hundreds of signatures.
Have the signatures right here,
Yeah,
actually.
demanding that they negotiate, and they refused to take those. They went back inside and told them to throw them on the floor. And that's on video, to just throw them on the floor, but I guess that's what they think, but the dealers have been working very, very hard to get these people to negotiate, tried everything that we can, and now we are coming to you guys to help us.
Mayor?
Well, Mr. Chairman, first, thank you for holding this meeting and bringing this resolution to the forefront so the public can see what's going on here. And it's also important for elected officials to get involved in this matter. I've been around organized labor and labor negotiations for quite some time, probably longer than some of these people have been alive. I've never seen this happen before. I've seen employers go to the table and say no. I've seen employers go to the table and bargain in bad faith. But I've never seen an employer in Western Massachusetts history refuse to bargain with a recognized union. It's just unheard of. And to complicate matters, you may go back, and I know the counselors go back. When this was all before the voters, and I think it was 2016 on the referendum, Hornbuckle came out, the president of MGM, and said, we're pro-union. All the way, we're pro-union. He told me that to my face. And that's one of the reasons I came out with Mayor Sullivan and Mayor Hurley, and we supported the referendum. Because they promised to be pro-union. So they have unions already there. Why they don't want to bargain with this team is beyond me. It's unfair, it's unheard of, And I hope that this resolution receives
Susan, I can't
support.
see my
council.
thing. Can't see the
I hope the
whole-
mayor signs it. And I do hope that if in fact MGM is sold to the successor buyer, that a host in the host agreement, organized labor is duly recognized, so we don't have this situation going forward. You know, Hornbuckle came in, he said, if we knew then, back in 16, what we know now, we would never built this place. What a thing to say to these working families. What a thing to say. And by the way, do you know how much Hornbuckle made last year?
How much?
$15 million. $15 million. And you know why they made so much money? Because MGM in 2024 had the best year ever they had. And they won't sit down and negotiate with this team, with this union. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. $15 million. And they made the money because of people like this. People who are doing the work, doing the hard work, the dealers, and making the money for MGM. So I hope this gets unanimous support. I hope you move it out of this committee with unanimous support. We're going to be here on the 12th in full force. And I hope we send a message not only to elected officials in the city, but throughout the region, that this is just not fair. And it's a broken promise by MGM.
I see in the queue, we have Counselor Catering Walsh.
Oh, okay, yes, I just want to make sure I'm unmuted. For those in the meeting, I think, Mike Albano, it would be important for them to know the history of your family working with the unions. I know your father was a great union leader, so you obviously are following in your footsteps, his footsteps today, supporting these workers, which I intend to do too.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
you have a very strong advocate on your side today.
Thank you, Counselor, for those comments. I just want to let you know that this union, United Here, is a successor union to my father's union, International Ladies Garment Workers Union. So it really is a very, very, very small world, especially with the union families and working families. So I'm thrilled to be here representing, helping them, and thrilled to be here on behalf of my father.
Thank you. We have Tim. I see you in the queue, Tim. I don't know if you have anything to offer or ask. Oh, I'm sorry.
Chair Curran, I think there's something wrong with the feed because I can't see all the speakers. I don't know if that's anything you can fix.
It just might be the camera there. There's many of the speakers are sitting on one side of the room, Catering. I think they're just out of the view of the camera. They're not at the table. We got a lot of camera shy individuals here at City Hall today. Do you have anything further to add, Catering, in terms of questions or anything?
Well, yes, I would like to know, is MGM saying anything? And what is their response to not following the law?
Well, that's a good question. And they are, as you point out, they are in violation of the law. And the next step, I think, for the union is to call the Gaming Commission and get on the agenda. And we're hoping that the commission will meet in Springfield so they can hear this firsthand. But they are in violation of the law. It's no different than if they were serving minors. It's a violation of the law. It's no different if there was theft. It's a violation of the law. And this council, I hope, will not tolerate violations of the law by MGM. It's just, again, not fair. They broke a promise, they refused to negotiate, and they are being held, they should be held in contempt. If it was a court of law, they would be held in contempt.
I think from my perspective, and it's my sense the council feels this way too. We are very pro-union and would like very much to help out because we all remember the promises that MGM made. I'm still waiting for the glass tower.
Me too. If I may just add one thing, we've also offered, because of the length of time that it's going to take for the government to get to this case, New England Joint Board has offered there's a different way of going about it, and they have full-heartedly declined. They said they will wait because they think it's gonna take forever and they're never gonna have to. So they just keep declining. They will never, they're just, and have no interest, don't even want to discuss it.
But if I could ask you just a couple things, what are your wages now and like, what are you bargaining for? In addition to wages, what are you looking to get at the bargaining table?
Fair, scheduling hours, most of them are scheduled 6 days a week. They only have one day off. Sometimes they'll get sent home early. They can't use their hard-earned time that they earn. On certain days, they black them out where they can call out, but you won't get paid for it. Even if you have PTO or sick time or whatever, you will not get paid on the weekends.
And what's that, if you know, what's the average hourly wage of a dealer? And, yeah,
So I've been there since day one, and I believe my hourly wage is $7.38.
and then you get tips on top of that.
You get gratuities on top of that.
And how does that part work out? So do you split the tips with your fellow dealers or?
We do what's called a daily toke rate.
Mhm.
So if you work that day, then you're part of that toke pool.
Okay,
And so whatever the tokes are, they're divided between the hours that are worked, and that they come up with a daily toke rate.
and so how does that shake out? If you could give anybody like, just the dealer's working in a week, and so you're making your $7 an hour with your tips. And so the tips obviously are dependent on how many people come to the casino. But like when it was really good, what were people making hourly? And when it's really during COVID, when it was slow? what was it like?
Right after COVID was when we were at our best. And we were doing well. We were making between $30 and $40 an hour with gratuities.
Mhm. So that was like 21, 22, or 20, what year was that?
That was 2022.
22. And now that with that, the high watermark was 30 to be a dealer. What's a dealer net make now with the average amount of people coming in that we hear is not that many? What would you say a dealer's making now hourly?
So our daily average, probably I would say our running daily average for tokes is probably around $26.
Okay. So it's off about $4. So in addition to wages, what are other benefits are you looking in the time? What else?
They are not, we have, in our contract, a lot of, our health insurance hasn't gone up since 2018. Theirs is ridiculous. It's constantly increasing. We have a lot of stuff in our contract now that we want to make sure that they get, that are just fair. Different ways of being able to deal with things, having progressive discipline and not just getting fired for one incident that happens. Protection, just making sure that you're treated fairly, paid fairly, and work fairly.
Council, if I may, you may recall when MGM first proposed this, they said there's gonna be 3,000 jobs. They're well short of that. They also said by year 3, they were gonna be grossing $550 million. They're grossing about $250 million. In my view, as the counselor suggested, they haven't met the terms that they set for themselves. So they could be making a lot more money if they had just met their original projections, but they're not really trying. They're not marketing. They're not bringing the shows in that they were supposed to bring in every week. So they're working hard, they're working families, and they're not getting a fair wage. And they won't sit down and talk about it. It's just unheard of in labor relations, totally unheard of. But they haven't met their mark by a long shot, and they're paying the price.
We have two other counselors, Jose Delgado. I don't know if you wish to comment or you just want to just take in the information or.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just listening, as somebody who previously worked at the property, I definitely have a number of perspectives, but I definitely remember when I worked there how hardworking many of the employees were, how many hours they put in. So to hear them here, discussing some of the challenges, it definitely, I feel with them. I had the same question as Counselor Walsh in terms of why is this not going on, especially if there's other unions on there. I guess my other question, how many unions are there currently at the property, and are there similar unions at all the other properties within Massachusetts, in Boston and Plainville?
Yes, currently there's 3 unions at MGM Springfield. The Teamsters is in a contract with us. And there is another union, I'm not sure of the name of theirs. They have the select techs and facilities. But yes, there's a union also at Encore. And Plain Ridge, I'm not sure. But I do know that they have a union in the Connecticut ones as well. So the one, Encore definitely, and, what was my train of thought? I apologize. There's, the Teamsters that are with us are also very much into, supporting us, as well as the, teachers union and, I forgot the name of the other. IBEW. Yeah, IBEW.
SEIU.
Yes.
SEIU.
We have a lot of support. It's amazing. It really is amazing. But it's not unheard of for these unions to be in the casinos. I think their biggest problem is that dealers are not the biggest. A lot of places don't have their dealers unionized. And it doesn't mean that they're not able to be unionized. It's just that they haven't done it yet.
Got it. Yeah, that was kind of what I was trying to learn is,
Yeah.
You have similar unions for dealers within the other Massachusetts casinos. I just wanted to know what was the process that they went through or are currently going through. So I just wanted to understand if we were behind the 8 ball here in Western Mass.
All right, counselors, and Tim, are you unmuted, or do you have anything to ask? I'll ask you to unmute. Are you still there? You need to unmute yourself,
Oh,
Tim.
yeah, there we go. You hear me now?
I do. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, appreciate hearing the stories from people. Does MGM have a designated, you must have managers of your areas or the dealers or whatever.
Yes.
Is it a topic that comes up in management meetings, or have you spoken formally, not even in a negotiation thing, but just are they aware of the fact you're organized, and do they respond to that, or is it just not ever brought up?
Yeah, I can respond to that. I mean, one of the reasons we would have more people here, but one of the reasons that there isn't is because there was they're acutely aware that people are organized, but they are trying to suppress them. Some people tried to call out for today to be here at this very meeting, and management said, no, you cannot call out. And if you do try, then we'll give you a point. We'll mark you up for it. It's intimidation. They refuse to recognize. We've had managers. I'm an organizer, so I've been talking with the dealers pretty frequently. I've heard of managers basically outright saying that there is no union. You will not be recognized, despite the fact that they've worn buttons. They've been loud on the floor. They've been rallying outside. They won their election, but they refuse to recognize it.
And how are your negotiations on raises and stuff? Are you up for annual raises or anything like that? Is there a process for that where raises are given out to to you as individuals or as groups?
No, we, the New England Joint Board in our contract, we have raises every January. If you're not in the union, you pretty much get a raise whenever MGM feels like giving you one. It's not something that they can count on.
If I may about that as well, MGM does not even notify the employees of when they decide to give these arbitrary raises as well. So what I was told by my managers and what I viewed personally is I was never told of a raise at all. I was given something to the effect of less than 30 cents of a raise because I made $765. Now I'm making just under no, sorry, I moved $675 $175, I'm just making about like $7 now. But I didn't see that anywhere. I just checked my pay stub recently and it just reflects that. So by no means are they doing any type of efforts to inform their employees on anything in regards to raises. And there's no transparency within that.
So when you became a union, was that at the beginning of your employment or did that happen since you've been hired there?
I've been here for just about 2 years now. The union was voted in just about a year ago. So to put it into perspective, I've seen the organization process leading up to the vote. I witnessed the vote happen. And then the subsequent efforts made by management in particular to basically stifle or quell the administration of the union has been kind of interesting. So we have had different situations where team members have been written up, given progressive disciplines that are far higher than what they're actually supposed to be getting. People getting final written warnings rather than a simple written warning one or a note to file on particular things. We've had other situations where essentially people being pulled into the office, not giving their Weingarten rights. Other rights for union workers are basically being ignored or just maybe just the ignorance of the management themselves. They just don't understand what being a manager on a unionized property entails. It's honestly, it's been progressively getting worse as this goes on. I've been hearing more and more stories of people getting written up, people being pulled into offices, bullied by managers, different situations going on where it's becoming an issue where it's starting to come to a head where a lot of people are getting very upset about it.
Gator, I see your hand up.
Yes, it is. Thank you. I'd like to ask either through you, Councilor Curran, the chair, or maybe former Mayor Albano, what's the recourse here? What's the higher authority that would force MGM to negotiate or deal with the dealers?
I'll let Chelsea respond. My understanding is the National Labor Relations Board has made a finding. He found them in default, found against them. They've appealed that, and has been stated at least 3 times. It's going nowhere. Very rare, if ever, that they overturn a review examiner's decision, and there's no new evidence to produce. So they're losing. And that's the only recourse. So my understanding, if we can get this resolved, passed unanimously, have the mayor sign it, I think it'll send a pretty good signal to MGM and Hornbuckle that, yay, at least come to the table.
Right.
These folks, they made you all the money, at least sit down and have some respect for them and negotiate a fair contract. It's not that hard, as you know, Counselor, it's not that hard, is it? We've all done it.
Right.
Easy.
Right. And as you said before, Mike, I mean, the promise of the jobs and the opportunities were a big part of people voting for MGM.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. But people forget sometimes. They forget, the promises that were made, but you remember, I remember, I know the chairman remembers, the councilors remember. We were promised a whole lot of things and we got very, very little in return.
Let the chips fall where they may.
So the resolution before the council next Monday night is a non-binding resolution, but it does urge MGM and the union to get to the negotiating table. And councilors are able to sign on as co-sponsors if they wish.
I'd like to be a sponsor.
Certainly. And we'll be taking a formal vote on the resolution on next Monday, May 12th. So now to vote this, if we don't, do you have any further comments, Mayor?
Just the council, if you could ask for a roll call on the 12th, I think that would be very important because I think these working families want to see who's with them and who's not with them.
A roll call would be ordered.
Great, thank you.
But I want to thank you, Chairman Curran, for having this meeting because it's really an eye opener. I don't think most people are aware of the difficulty that the dealers and the people that are working there, you know, our Springfield people are having this issue. So I'm glad it's coming to light, and I hope it means that it might get resolved.
And so for the counselors and committee members on the call today, I'm gonna just ask for the vote to move it out of committee, which will move it to the agenda on May 12th. So we have one more question from one of the attendees.
It's not a question, but as someone who's in school and who's going to be a future worker in Springfield, I really hope that the resolution passes and that I can trust in my city to protect workers, since I'm going to be a nurse in like about a year here. And so, yeah, I would like to know that I can trust you guys to put pressure on companies like MGM to protect their workers.
Thank you. So informal just voice vote to pass this out of the Economic Development Committee. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm not on the committee,
I'm not on the committee either.
Well, your voice counts, so
but I.
so with that, it is now moved from the committee to the city council agenda. I want to thank all the members of the union, city councilors, Kateri Walsh, Tim Allen, Jose Delgado, and former Mayor Michael Albano. Thank you very much, and this concludes tonight's committee hearing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.